All right, so what projects do you have with ALUS?
We've got this one with it, which is a native planting and a wetland restoration. We've got some that are some others that are native restoration and tree plantings. Couple different wetland projects. I think that's a majority. So mostly focused on, like most of our places focused on native rangeland, so a lot of our stuff's trying to kind of get back to that.
When did you start working with ALUS?
10 years ago, I think it is. This is our 10th anniversary. I think it was 10 years ago. So this is actually probably, yeah, this is probably the first ALUS project in Alberta. Yeah, so this is our first one we did. So originally, like 10 years ago, we used to winter cows here, and the slough was, well, the willows were totally down to sticks. I mean, it didn't hold water very long. The water cycling wasn't working right. We knew we wanted to kind of restore the wetland, so where it started was, with our project, was we were going to fence off the wetland, and then seed this down so it's contiguous with a piece of grass that's native grassland that's the wildlife corridor. So we just wanted to add some habitat to that and kind of tie into that habitat.
I've noticed that you have a lot of cattle. Do you ever have them come graze in here?
We will occasionally. So what we'll do is we'll put in a lot of cattle for a really short amount of time. We'll use portable electric fence, and we'll fence off all the trees so they don't graze the trees or break them off. I mean, in another few years the trees will be big enough we won't have to worry about it, I hope. But and then we'll put a lot of cattle in here for a really short amount of time. So this spring we had we fenced off the wetland, we fenced off the tree rows, and then we put about 200 cows in here for, well, it was approximately a day and a half, and then they were all out again. So the idea is just to clip the grass all down, get some light around the trees so the trees can get a little bit more sunlight, and then have the grass, basically once it's grazed down, the grass, it stimulates the grass to grow, and it helps drive carbon back down into the ground. So that's a big part of the reason we're doing it.
Did you plant trees when you were restoring the wetland?
We haven't planted a tree in the wetland. We've stayed back and just let it regenerate on its own. That way we didn't have to worry about invasives. We don't have to worry about if the species should be there. And it's night and day different. It's totally changed the wetland. So actually the coolest thing is probably actually seeing the projects grow with the kids. So just looking at photos from the other day, and you know, seeing a kid that's this tall planting trees, like not as tall as a tire on the tree planter, and now the trees are taller than the kid. Like that's kind of the cool part for me. I think that's kind of the neatest. The other thing I like about it is the acknowledgement that I'm more than a producer, so the acknowledgement that we might have some skills and that we're doer environmentalists, so giving us the power to manage it and, you know, and make the decisions rather than being told what to do. It's okay, we're going to offer you these EG&S the best way we know how, and it's going to continue to get better. Like having the personal responsibility to do that, that's a big thing.